Does the rapid fire barrel really make your assault rifle recoil better? The bigger content creators seem to think so, but I'm here to show you they might not be telling you the whole truth. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and the other day I put out a video going over if the barrel attachments and other attachments that actually help your recoil and rate of fire are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Now, I did this test with my MP7 build, and I also did it with a blank MP7 and a few other attachments on it. And you were all quick to comment and let me know that the MP7 wasn't affected by this, and in fact, it's more just the assault rifles. So my test today is going to revolve around the ACR, the AK-47, and some LMGs. So I have three ACRs pre-built here. We have a base ACR with no attachments. We have an ACR with attachments that decrease horizontal and vertical recoil. And we have an ACR with a muzzle booster, and then we'll also swap this one out for the rapid fire barrel and see what the recoil patterns are on all four of these. So first, let's see what our recoil pattern looks like for the ACR with no attachments. So the best way I found to test recoil is to line yourself up with this, walk forward into it so you can't walk anymore, and then walk directly left so that you're aiming at the target. And then we'll start here and empty the entire clip and see what our recoil pattern looks like. So that's our recoil pattern for just the ACR with no attachments. Now let's go ahead and take out the ACR that I've built, standing in the same spot, aiming at the same spot. And this one has all of the recoil attachments on it. And we'll take a look at that recoil pattern. And then now this is an ACR with just a muzzle booster on it. So we'll go ahead and get that recoil pattern recorded. And last but not least, I'm going to swap out this muzzle booster and put just a rapid fire barrel on it, as this seems to be the attachment in question. And we will empty our clip and take a look at that recoil pattern there. Alright, and now that we have all four of those recorded, let's go ahead and throw these up on the screen at the same time so we can take a look and compare to one another. So right off the bat, I can see that the gun with no attachments and the ones with the muzzle booster and the rapid fire attachments seem to have almost identical recoil, which is kind of weird because the muzzle booster is supposed to increase the horizontal recoil by 10%. Same with the vertical recoil, and the barrel for the rapid fire is supposed to do the same thing for both by 20%. Now, given the numbers compared to the rapid fire and the muzzle booster, the rate of fire is doubled from 2.5 to 5, and the recoil control is lost, but it's doubled at 10% to 20%. So I would almost expect these two to be identical, but for them to both be pretty much the same as the ACR with no attachments is kind of weird. Now let's pause that for a second because I have a theory. But before I move on, let's take a look at the ACR with all of the recoil attachments. Now, this one has a compensator, a stabilizing barrel, a vertical front rail, grip tape, and a precision stock. And the horizontal recoil seems slightly worse, and the vertical recoil is a little improved, but in my opinion, it's really not worth using just attachments that focus on recoil control. Instead, I think I would focus more on sprint to shoot and ADS time, because that's going to be key in winning a lot of your gunfights. Now, here's my theory. The muzzle booster gives you a 2.5% rate of fire, but you lose 10% horizontal and vertical recoil. So my theory is this would seemingly offset itself, same as the rapid fire barrel where it's double for all of these stats, given that you're shooting bullets faster, but your recoil goes up and horizontal faster as well. So my theory is that these would offset. Now, I don't know the whole math behind all that. Feel free to tell me I'm wrong down in the comments. That's just my theory. Now, to test that theory, I've put together 3 LMGs. And that's a base model M249, an M249 with a bunch of recoil attachments, and an M249 with a muzzle booster, in which we will change this to a rapid fire barrel when we get to this one. Same as the ACR. So we're loading into a firing range. We're going to do the same tests. We're going to walk forward into this. So we can't walk forward anymore. And then we're going to walk immediately left. And now we're aimed at the target. And I'm not going to shoot all 100 bullets because that would be an insane test. But we're going to use this here. We're going to shoot about 20 bullets just to see the recoil pattern. And that is exactly 20 bullets right there. So next we're going to move on to the M249 with all of the recoil attachments, aiming at the same spot, and we'll try to do 20 bullets here. Again, exactly 20 bullets. Now for our third test, we'll do the muzzle booster. That one was only 19 bullets, but you get the idea. And now let's go in here and change this to the rapid fire barrel by itself. And do our same test. And we got 20 bullets on that one. So now that we've seen all 4 of these individually, let's go ahead and throw these all 4 up on screen and see what they look like. And right off the bat, you'll probably notice that the muzzle booster, rapid fire barrel, and the no attachment recoil pattern look almost identical again. So this only continues to further prove my theory that while these attachments may lower your recoil control, both horizontally and vertically, the rate of fire seems to be offsetting that. This doesn't only happen with assault rifles, and in particular the ACR. My last test in my previous video showed that this also happens with the SMG that I used in that video, which was the MP7, and also the LMG, the M249 that I'm using here. So once again, I think people are going after the wrong stuff and claiming that they're bugs or things are broken when they're actually not, and they're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and we just may not have a full understanding of why they are the way they are. So I am by no means saying that my theory is correct, but this seems to be happening across all different types of guns. So I don't think it's a gun specific issue. Either my theory is correct and the rate of fire is offsetting that recoil that you're losing, or these attachments are just broken on all weapons. Either way, you can see from the bottom right chart here that it also still stands to reason that recoil attachments just aren't worth it. Now, I don't know if they're actually giving you the plus 10%, plus 7%, or whatever it is, recoil control that you're supposed to get, that it tells you that you're getting. But if it is, then it's just clearly not worth it. Like that additional recoil from having recoil attachments to having no attachments, you can control that. It just takes time, practice. So when you're spending hours upon hours of trying to build the best version of a weapon that you want to use, keep this in mind and maybe don't really go for the attachments that give you more recoil control. Like I said previously, maybe focus on things that give you ADS time increases or sprint to shoot time increases and build your gun that way. Now, you may not be convinced. After all, I'm just a lowly content creator going up against another content creator who has almost 1 million subscribers. And I'm not saying what he put out was wrong. I'm just saying it was unfinished. There's a lot of things that go into recoil control that's not just the attachments you put on your gun. Things like controller stick dead zone if you're playing with a controller. Things like distance. In fact, that's why I think that the test that the Exclusive Ace did is unfinished. So what I'm about to show you is 3 different distances, and I'll show you what it looks like to be that far away from the target, and then I'll do an overlay of what the bullet pattern will look like. So here's the first distance. The second distance. And the third distance. Now let's plot these on a graph so we have something more real to look at. Now the first graph we're going to take a look at has 2 different colors here. The black is just the base ACR, and the pinkish purplish color is the ACR with only a rapid fire barrel. Both of these were fired from the exact same distance, and that was the first one that we saw. So you could see super up close to the target, it almost appears as if the rapid fire barrel does reduce recoil. But if we continue to take a step back and look at the second distance, we can see that the recoil starts to really show. And then if we step back even further, you can clearly see that adding a rapid fire barrel definitely increases both horizontal and vertical recoil. Now, I don't know the science and the math behind the distance and the rate of fire and all that. I'm just showing you what your eyes can see. And the test everybody's telling me that is saying that this barrel is broken and there's no downside to it is only based on a test that was fired about 5 meters, if that, from the target. Once you start moving into actual range where most of your gunfights are going to happen if you have an ACR to begin with, you'll definitely see the noticeable recoil increase. So let me know down in the comments what you think of this test. I tried to make it as apples to apples as I could, and after seeing what you just saw, do you still believe the rapid fire barrel doesn't do what it says it does in terms of reducing your recoil control? Also, if you enjoy this type of content and you like the video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.